Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Fan Experience Podcast. I am your host, Mike Kados. Alongside me is my co-host, Rick Molina. Rick, how we doing?
Doing well, Mike. Big night tonight. Lot to get to. We got the Mets, the Jet disaster. Talk a little bit about what else is going on in the NFL. But this is your night. This is your moment. The man himself had a press conference today, so the floor is yours, my friend. Tell us how you're feeling right now, watching Steve Cohen. Tell us the thoughts, the emotions. Tell us how you're feeling right now. Speak for the Met fan tonight.
Well, I mean, listen, you guys have been watching me for 32 episodes. I've been rocking the play in the field gear pretty much every single time. Tonight's just a different night. It's a Mets fans' Christmas, and Santa Claus has come to the New York Mets, and apparently, talking like we've all been good. So let's just, he's, a lot of the things that he said today were just exactly what we wanted to hear. Was it because he was just saying it because it was exactly what we wanted to hear? I don't, because this guy is a Mets fan as well, and he didn't like what was going on, and he does think that he can make a difference. And one of the things that he said, which was great, was that the Mets are a big market team, and it should have a budget commensurate with that. And right there, like, he's not going to be afraid to spend money. I mean, you could see the numbers, between him and the next richest owner, and he's like quadruple what the next richest owner in the MLB has in his at his disposal. So I have no doubts that he's going to spend money, and he said he's not going to run this team. He's going to provide the resources to put the right people in place to run this team. Luis Rojas will be staying on as manager. I did like what he did last year. Last year was this past year, it was just a lost year. It was, we couldn't really expect much, especially with Syndergaard going down and Stroman going down and then opting out on top of that. I mean, you can't do anything with just Jacob deGrom. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But he wants to rebuild the farm system, and he said he wants to win the World Series in the next 3 to 5 years, if not sooner. And if he doesn't, it will be slightly disappointing. I mean, it would be very disappointing in my eyes, but I get what he's saying. You can't just build a World Series team overnight. And Sandy Alderson as well. It just seems like they're on, they're in sync with each other, and I'm just loving what's to come. That's that's as much as I can say. I mean, it's like I said, Mets fan Christmas.
There you go.
So Rick, let's hear your thoughts on it.
The voice of the Met fan, Mike Kados. Look, obviously I'm a Yankee fan, but this should be a big day for you guys. You finally have an owner who's dropped the gauntlet down and pretty much said we should be competitive and be in a World Series in 3 to 5 years. We're a New York team. We're going to act like it, right? And we're going to spend some money. We're going to get the right talent in here. We're going to build it the right way. We're going to behave the right way. And that's what you need as an owner. And I think today for the Met fan was such a breath of fresh air. A day where you can hold your head up high and you can pump your chest a little bit and say, yeah, that's my owner. That's what I'm looking for. And so, kudos to you. And what I even love more was when he was asked this afternoon, about the other bidders. And he was like, who were the other bidders? I don't even remember, because he's right. Nobody remembers second or third place. They remember that you win, and he won. And that's the attitude you have to have. And like you said, he's going to keep Luis Rojas, but I like the fact that he's bringing Sandy Alderson, because he's realized, look, I'm going to own the team. I'm going to provide resources, but you guys are going to run the ship. And that's the way things should be run. So again, congratulations to you, to all the Met fans out there. This is a great moment. Should be competitive. Should build your own identity, should build your own culture, and not feel inferior to us, the beloved Yankee fan. And it's going to be great around here. And so, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting out there in Citi Field in the next few years coming up. So you were definitely going to go out there and catch some games. And with the edict that he dropped today, I can see the Mets being in a World Series in the next 3 to 5 years. Look what the Rays did Look what the Braves have done. So it's a good day. If you're a Met fan, this is a good day for you. You should be excited, overjoyed, happy, pop a bottle of champagne, and then tomorrow get back down to business. So kudos to you.
Yeah, and speaking of Rays, I like what he said in his press conference. Somebody asked him, are you going to be more on the analytical side of things? Are you going to, be more on the human component? And he said that, everyone's knocking the Rays about, pulling Blake Snell because of the analytics and whatnot. But that's what they used to get to the World Series. Those same type of managerial decisions and the analytics that came along with it is what got them to the World Series. So they're not going to second guess themselves. Then it ended up not working out. Nothing's 100%. So as long as you build that foundation and that sustainability in the clubhouse and in the culture, and then that's all you can do. And you can't flip flop. So I do like what he said there, and that also makes me feel a lot. Like we're in much better hands than. I mean, it was nauseating listening to the Wilpons speak. I mean, let's just be real.
Well, you know what? Something else that he said. Two things that caught my eye. He said they're going to help the employees at Citi Field. They're going to come up. They're going to do something for those employees, employee assistance, pretty soon. So that's a good thing that he mentioned. And then the other thing that I think he had mentioned was that kind of relating to our show, right? The fan experience. You want to talk about experience as a fan. He said not to forget the fans. When they interact with him, he wants their experiences to be extraordinary. He's thinking about you, man. He's thinking about the fan and all these decisions that he's going to be making. He's thinking about how the fan interacts with the team and the front office, and that for an owner to see that, for an owner to see how starved the Met fan was for a victory, to win, to be part of it, I think that's just great. And I think this first press conference, he really won over a lot of Met fans today. So it was a good start to the Mets and their offseason.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. He didn't really need to do much to win them all.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we'll take a quick word from our sponsors real quick. Just put that up here.
Yeah.
So this, what happened there? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Support for the fan experience is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Yeah, indeed, Mike. And this is the time of year. Holidays are coming up. You're going to be out and about. You're going to be around family. Maybe meet that special young lady. You never know who's going to be around. Meet that lady from a friend or whoever the case is. You want to be ready. You want to be on point. You want to be trim. You want to be proper. So that's what this story of Manscaped is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not the same as shaving with the trimmer for your hair or your face. It's a redesigned electric trimmer engineered to be the perfect ball hair trimmer ever created. And they just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. The third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, and I attest to it. I'm not gonna lie, I've used it. It's right, it's a great product, and guys, seriously, go out there and grab one, and girls, convince you guys. Or hey, the holidays are 45 days from Christmas.
Yeah, it's a good gift.
The holidays are right around the corner. And you can hook your man up with something special.
Yeah, guys, and listen, when I say this is premium, I mean premium. I mean the battery lasts up to 90 minutes. You can take longer to shave. You can take your time. You can be in the shower, nice warm shower, looking out the window, and you be like, you know what? I'm gonna take my time trimming my testes. I mean, it's just incredible, and the waterproof technology allows you to do that. So think about it. You don't have to worry about your trimmer just breaking down in the shower. You can enjoy and take your time in there. I mean, what more can you ask for out of a product?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are a fan of this show and you like listening to us speak, We want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean. Get 20% off plus free shipping right now with the code FANEXPERIENCE at manscaped.com. Let's make your testes their besties.
And again, guys, that's 20% off free shipping with the code FANEXPERIENCE at manscaped.com. Again, 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use promo code FANEXPERIENCE. I promise you, your balls, they're going to thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Manscaped. And now, joining us, our next guest.
Another happy camper.
He is a happy camper. He is the founder of Our Athletes. He is a contributor to Win Daily Fantasy and on Sirius XM Fantasy, and also the host of For the Love of Sports podcast. Joining us now, Michael Rasile. Is that right, Rasile?
Rasile, close enough.
Rasile. All right.
You're good. And yes, I will be very honest. Rick, pleasure meeting you. Mike, obviously, nice to see you again. But I got married this year, and I will say that was the second favorite day of my life. And that it's a pretty distant second to Mr. Steve Cohen, Uncle Steve. We can now all spend his money. We can do whatever we want. We can finally be happy Mets fans because we don't have to see the Wilpons faces, hopefully, ever again. So very, very grateful for that. So yes, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had to rock the Mets gear today. I couldn't.
I love it.
I couldn't see myself not doing that. So, talk about, where it all started for you. Oh, by the way, you changing up the look. I'm used to you with the goatee.
Hey man, it's November, right? I mean, you guys are talking about shaving your balls. I want to talk about shaving my face a little bit, right? I think it's only fair. It is November. I am a constant contributor of Movember. I'm very big fan of it. Haven't thankfully had anybody affected by prostate cancer in my life, but it is one of those things where if I get to rock a mustache and let other people know, hey, this is something that's going on in the world, I'm 100% for it, man. So maybe I'll just keep it. I got this whole Groucho Marx thing going, and I think I rock it. So why not, right? Let's do it.
Yeah, roll with it.
There you go. Let's we always start off the show, just going down. What really started it for you? Your love of sports. Where it all came from. What really got you hooked in, and I know you're a Mets and a Giants fan. Talk to us about how it all started.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I remember that one time in 2000, the Giants got stomped on by the Ravens. But back then, I was like 8. So it was just kind of cool. Hey, there's a New York team. I like them, right? I was already a Mets fan at that point. So that's kind of what got me into the Giants, Ray Lewis aside. Ray Lewis jokes aside, of course. But it's just one of those things where I've always just kind of been a huge, huge sports fan. I grew up a Mets fan. I mean, I grew up. My mom is a huge, huge Mets fan. Her mom and her grandmother and my mom is one of 8. So they're all Mets fans. So it's pretty much my entire life. I was born into it, unfortunately. But today, as I said, one of the happiest days of my life. So it worked out, I think. So it's just something that's always been there. It's just been a constant. Huge baseball fan, huge football fan, and kind of grown more in love with sports. The older I get, I can understand them a little bit better. I can feel those emotions a little bit better. My early 20s is really when I would kind of ride or die on all this stuff. And now I got a little bit older, just turned 29 a couple days ago. Still ride or die, but I can hide my emotions just a little bit better at this point. So that helps. But man, it's I wouldn't trade it for literally anything else in the world at this point.
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying. So, you said, obviously you're the best thing to happen to you this year was today. But also you said that one of your best fan experiences was the 2015 World Series win. Yeah. So talk to us about that. Were you there or,
yes.
What? Okay.
I was $700 a ticket, standing room only. And emotions are something very important to me, whether they're good, bad, indifferent, whatever they are. It's always been something that, I'll be very honest, over the last couple of years, try to get more in tune with myself and kind of what the heck's going on with me. I think it's very important. And I've never felt that feeling before. I don't know what that feeling is. And I honest to God, until Steve Cohen bought the Mets, and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep making those jokes the rest of my life. Until he bought the Mets, I never knew what that feeling was like, right? Like it's like this weird combination of hope and gratitude and unconditional, just amazing love, I guess. I don't know. I was in a stadium filled with what, 50, 60, 70,000 other people. And we all have the same energy, the same vibration that is going out. And it was the one game the Mets won. I mean, Yoenis hit a home run. David Wright hit that home run. I had a little tear in my eye for that because I kind of knew he was on the way out, unfortunately. And it was just incredible. Noah Syndergaard, meet me on the mound, 60 feet, 6 inches. I was there for all of it, and it was absolutely incredible. Now, of course, we all know the story. The Mets are the first team ever to blow three staves in a World Series. So that was fun. So didn't get to quite win the World Series, but being there at game, what was that, 3, if I'm not mistaken, yep. I've never felt that feeling before. And honestly, I don't know if I'll ever feel it again. So that was just easily one of the cooler experiences of my entire life at this point.
Mike, sorry, go ahead, Mike, go ahead.
No, I was going to just say one thing, because of the saves. Do you think all the money in the world right now is going to break our little closer curse? I mean, this thing's been rolling.
It's not a closer curse. It's a Fred and Jeff Wilpon curse.
Okay.
It's an ownership curse, right? The Browns are always going to be the Browns until Jimmy Haslam sells the Browns. The Jets are going to be the Jets until it's a top down, man. You can change GMs, you can change coaches. It doesn't matter. If you have a shit culture and a shit organization, it's going to come down to it. So hopefully, again, Steve Cohen bought the Mets, gentlemen. Let's just say it together. Steve Cohen bought the Mets. $14 billion. $14 billion. I don't even know how to count that high. So I'm just excited to see what the heck happens there.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and Mike have talked about this when the sale first was close discussed. Were you, and we both agreed that Steve Cohen was the right owner. Or do you feel the same way? I mean, were you against the A-Rod J-Lo bid? Like, did you think it was real serious, or were you Cohen was the way to go for you?
I wanted Steve Cohen, obviously. Again, I can't count to $14 billion. I don't know what that looks like in a bank account. Now, I think he's done some shady shit, and you could quickly go Google search that, and I think it'll come up pretty high on the search results there. But it is one of those things. He is a lifelong Mets fan. I think something along the lines of his wife's father, his father-in-law, has been at like every home game for the last like 50 years or whatever. So I think that part is really cool. But honestly, I did not care who bought the Mets. I hate the Wilpons that much that anybody would have been better, right? If it was J-Rod or A-Lo, whatever the hell we want to call them. I mean, I think they would have been better, right? I think they would have been better than the coupons, I think. But I'm glad it was Steve Cohen because it's pretty much just one guy, right? If it was J-Lo and A-Rod, it was pretty much like they were the Magic Johnson of this kind of investment group, essentially just kind of being a figurehead, which, hey, is better than nothing. But yeah, I was excited when Steve Cohen's name was up. And then I was excited when Steve Cohen saved $200 million because the Wilpons are so stupid. So that really helped me out too. Hopefully he can reinvest that into the organization as he's currently doing. And we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll jump in real quick. So you called them J-Rod, all this time, Rick. Yeah. I think we should name them A-Lo because their bid was a tad low.
Oh,
there you go.
This guy, watch out. There we go. Right. I did not know. Rick, I'll be honest, I did not know you called them J-Rod. So that's pretty cool. I love it. Look at us.
That's my thing, J-Rod. But let me ask you this. Let's transition to you for a second because so you have this moment obviously in 2015. You have a love of sports. How did you take that emotion, all that passion, translate it in what you're doing now? You're writing a book, you got your podcast, you're involved in so many things. Tell us how you sort of transitioned into all that.
Yeah. Good question, man. And honestly, that was one of the turning points, right? In 2015 and having that experience and realizing like, why the hell did I get into finance? Like, I hate finance.
Man,
I hate finance, dude. Like there we go, Rick. Let's do this. I mean, I'm not here to get political. I'm not here to get anything like that.
You don't even have to say it. I'm with 100%. Go ahead.
The stock market's fake. There, I said it, people. The stock market's fake. It makes no sense. Really, it's total bullshit. So being in finance, I understand there's a lot of good people in finance. There's a lot of good you can do, but I couldn't care less about it. It turns out I like my money. I don't really like anybody else's. So while I was slightly successful for my time in finance, I had zero passion. Woke up every day saying, man, I have to do this 6 days a week for the rest of my life. That's not something I want to do. So that was just kind of one of those moments. And while being at that Mets game, maybe it wasn't, completely conscious. Maybe it was a little more subconscious. It was always why the hell am I not working in sports? Like, the internet exists. You can literally do anything you want now. Why the hell am I not working in sports? So it took me a little while, but I eventually did get there. Started my own business a couple years ago where I help athletes with sponsorship and endorsement opportunities. Predominantly Olympic and Paralympic athletes is where I started, but kind of branching out, just trying to do whatever I can at this point. Obviously, as you can see behind me, Win Daily. I've been doing a lot of podcasting, and it's something that I truly do enjoy as well, especially within the sports realm. So I have my own podcast for the love of sports, but I do help out the crew over at Win Daily with their podcast, which is actually where I just was. And that's why, Mike, I'm wearing green, because we just did a Masters show. Unfortunately, was not quick enough to get my Mets stuff on.
It's all good.
I do have, I'm on a Sirius XM show there as well. So really anything in sports is what I love and what I want to do, and really do enjoy the sponsorship side, working with athletes individually and, trying to help them make a couple bucks along the way. It's been a little bit more enjoyable.
Now, when you help out these athletes, do you take a sort of holistic view? I mean, do you kind of take a look and break it down, say, here's where you are, here's where we want to get you? Or is it more of just like giving them some sort of suggestions on what you think they could do? Is it tell me macro scale, what exactly are you doing for them?
Yeah, so I help them with sponsorships and endorsements, essentially. So I try and understand who they are as people, understand what they're trying to do, what their likes, their dislikes are, some of the things that they care about. And then I try and go find those brands and say, hey, I have this athlete, I have these 5 athletes. They're Olympic, they're Paralympic athletes, or they're XYZ athletes. And I think that this is something that they can really run with, such as your Manscaped ad before, promo code FAN EXPERIENCE, 20% off.
Thank you.
Let's get it. But yeah, really just try and help the athletes out with similar things like that, and really get them to understand like there is an opportunity for them. Now, obviously the pandemic hasn't been super, super kind to the business, but it's just one of those things. We rock with it, we roll with it, and we kind of see what happens from there.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's great to hear those types of stories, like you just, and that's pretty much the same with me. I wasn't in finance, but I just wanted to get a job in sports, and do something in sports. So, I thought of playing the field, and, I ran with it. And then, through developing playing the field, I wanted to start this podcast. And to be completely honest, I was terrified. I wasn't, I didn't really see myself as being a podcast host, let alone just a podcast guest. But, after doing a couple of them, I just got more and more comfortable, and, honestly, it was the best decision ever. And it's been a lot of fun, just meeting, a bunch of amazing people. And it's not too dissimilar to this one. It's all about the love of sports. So yours is For the Love of Sports podcast. And you've had, what do you like 220 episodes now? But you
something like that.
You've had
that's great.
You've had a lot of different guests, a lot of great people in and around the sports industry. So talk to us a little bit about how you got that started, where that all started.
Yeah. So, actually, one thing before I forget, I voted for you guys for something today. I'm not 100%
Thank you very much.
I voted for.
Thank you. Game Plan U or something.
Yes.
The
5
Game
votes.
Plan U Sprint. Yes, everybody, please support Playing the Field. GamePlanU.org/sprint. I will post it in the comments afterwards.
Yes, there we go. I totally forgot about that, because I actually was going, and I also voted for Ashley Hart, who is your guest on Thursday. She was my guest probably like 5-6 months ago. She's awesome. So everybody that is listening and watching now, get ready. She has such a cool business model, and I'm 100% for what she's doing and how she's doing it. So she's a real cool person. Very grateful that I got her on the show as well. But so how it started for me. So as I was telling you with our athletes, how it's predominantly Olympic and Paralympic athletes. Well, Mike, how the hell did you get in contact with so many Olympic athletes, right? How did I? So I actually started a podcast called Our Athletes, same as the name of the business. And I went to a bunch of Olympic and Paralympic athletes and said, hey, I'm starting a podcast where I talk to Olympic and Paralympic athletes on their story and path to the games. That easy. I did this specifically for business development. So I reached out, and I probably have interviewed about 170-ish Olympic and Paralympic athletes on their story and path to the games. And my goodness, they're some of the most incredible stories you'll ever hear. What they do, how they do it, the time, the sacrifice that they give to compete for our country for about 15 minutes. That's like, when you really break it down, they might be on TV for 15 minutes. Granted, it's in front of 2-3 billion people. It's still for 15 minutes. And some of them don't get any of that screen time. Some of them don't even make the games. They still put in as much time. It's just, that's not the way it breaks for them. So I started that podcast to just get in contact with these athletes so that I can turn around and then say, hey, I'm also doing this other thing where I'm helping athletes with sponsorship. Are you interested? So that's kind of how I utilized that first podcast at the beginning of this year, 2020, which feels like, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago at this point. I decided, hey, like I can do that, but I also can kind of open up my bandwidth a little bit. Like I meet so many cool people. At least I still do, but when I used to go to New York City on, 2-3 times a week just to go meet people, I would meet some of the coolest people on planet Earth, and some of the shit they're doing was so much fun. So I was like, well, how do I have a conversation with them? I was like, well, I could just start another show where I could just broaden it, generalize it a little bit more, and there we go. There's my other show. So now I have For the Love of Sports, which, as yes, you did say, it's somewhere around 220 interview episodes this year, essentially. So in the last 10, 11 months, whatever it's been.
Wow.
The pandemic helped. The pandemic helped a lot. A lot of people were super interested in coming on the show in like March, April, when everyone was stuck inside their house. Then they kind of were like, nah, man, we're good. We don't need to do that anymore. But yeah, I started doing that. And as you said, it's just a conversation. Just get to understand who you are, where you're from. Mike, obviously you came on the show. It was a lot of fun. Understand who you are, where you're from, and what you're trying to do. And through that is where I actually got the idea to write the book as well, which I'll get to in a second. But a couple topics, a couple things I always like to pay attention to is there are so many job opportunities in the world of sports, right? Coming out of college for me, coming out of Rutgers in 2014, it was, do you want to sell tickets? No. Do you want to be an agent? No. Okay, well, you can't get a job in sports. I then quickly realized that that's not true. That's why I ended up with that finance job, and then eventually moved on from there. But there are just so many cool people, so many entrepreneurs, technology companies. Obviously, sports betting and gambling is becoming a really huge thing. There are so many different things that you can do in the world of sports. I just kind of wanted to relay that information to some people. So I've been lucky enough to talk to so many different cool people about what they've done, their mindset to take it to the top on a daily basis, and where they see kind of their industry and in the broader industry going. And it's been an absolute blast. It's my favorite thing I get to do. That obviously then, as I said, led me to Win Daily a little bit, where I help them with their podcast, their live streams, and I get to be on Sirius XM radio. So talking into a microphone's fun. If I could get paid to do it one day, I think I'd be the happiest person on planet Earth. But until then, just do it for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And me and Rick have been having a ton of fun.
Yeah, so a ton of laughs. Yeah.
So, talk to us about the book. What's it about? When do you, how far along are you? And, just give us a little recap here.
Yeah, 100%. The book is finished. It is due to be released in less than 30 days, the week of December 7th. So I'm very, very grateful, very excited for that. It started in about January, as I said, we kind of almost coincided with the podcast. What it is about is leaders in sports business. The name of the book is Winning in Sports Business, and I was able to highlight some incredible people, what they've done and how they've done it within the world of sports business. And really, again, just want to show people what it takes on a daily basis, the mindset that you need, some of the opportunities that are in the space. Try to touch upon a lot of different people. Obviously, we have a couple different sports agents. I had AJ Vaynerchuk, if you guys are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk. AJ Vaynerchuk. Yep. AJ's in the book, which is really cool. I have Adam White of Front Office Sports. If you guys aren't familiar with them, real cool media company, nice and quick, nice startup, doing some incredible things. So I got the CEO of them. Dr. Meeta Singh, she's one of the most well-known sleep doctors for sports teams. She actually was with the Nationals when they won their championship a couple years ago, which was really interesting. So it's just got some incredible people. Brandon Steiner of Steiner Sports. You guys are in New York, so you should know about him. Yeah. David Meltzer worked for Lee Steinberg for a little while. Mark Taffet, the gentleman who created HBO boxing and HBO pay-per-view sports. So if you want to talk about a guy that added some value, I would call it, cool. I don't know, $15 billion in revenue to a company is not too bad. So got his story in there. There's some other incredible people as well. I apologize for who I'm missing, but it's just been an absolute blast, and definitely had a really fun time. Got to write a book. So when someone says, hey, 2020, that year kind of sucked, I was like, well, I did write a book. Like, that was kind of cool. I'll take it. Worse things have happened.
Exactly.
So where does that rank? I mean, Steve Cohen's number one. Your man was number two. Yeah. The book is number three right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't even quite put that. Mike, our interview, that was my number 3 day.
There we go. I'm a little disappointed it didn't make the top 2.
Number 4 is going to be when I order my Manscaped Lawnmower 3 promo code.
All right.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, Mike, let me ask you this. When you in writing your book, what were some of the things that these sports leaders all had in common, what were some of the things you say would set them apart from, just the average person in the world of sports? Because these are the people at the highest level of sports, which is such a competitive industry.
100%. And I would say the number one thing and something that comes up, there's a specific chapter on it, but it is kind of a theme throughout, is I personally don't believe in luck. So I string that throughout the book. I believe in hard work and adding value. That is one thing that I've seen pretty much in every single story of all the incredible people in the book, as well as just some of the interviews that I've done, and really just high level people in life, right? It's all about adding value. It's all about giving without the expectations of receiving anything. But it's that value that you can add. Just as an example, I have Mark Simon in the book of ESPN of Baseball Tonight. He was on Baseball Tonight for a while.
Yeah.
Way he got his job at ESPN. Now, it wasn't a direct correlation, but he wrote a note to Jason Stark back when he was like 22, 23 years old about a kind of a little silly little story. Something happened the day before. He kind of brought it back to Charlie Brown, because Jason Stark always likes to add those kind of weird little quirky stories, kind of like a Tim Kirkchin kind of thing. And it caught his eye. And it was just one of those things they were able to kind of stay in contact. And he was then able to ask Jason Stark for somebody's name at ESPN that would be the hiring manager of the position. And eventually he got to the right person. So it's one of those things where not reaching out and saying, hey, I'm looking for a job. He reached out, said, hey, I have this cute story I think your readers will really like. Jason Stark used that. Now, a couple months later, he reaches out again and says, he didn't say, hey, I helped you. No, you have to help me. It's just one of those things, understanding, hey, I helped you. Like, is there any opportunity for you to help me? And eventually, now Mark Simon's one of the most well-known people in baseball and sabermetrics, and he's doing his thing. So very grateful I got him in the book as well. But that is for front foremost, whatever the hell that saying I'm trying to say is. It is all about adding value, and there's so many great examples of that in the book.
Who's the one person that you wanted to get in the book that you were not able to interview, that you would have said, wow, that is incredible? Yeah,
there's probably two. I would say Darren Ravel, because he quote unquote wrote the book on sports business, right? We all know he went into ESPN with the binder, yada, yada, yada. He did his thing. He's now doing some cool stuff at the Action Network. That was kind of cool. I got somebody else from the Action Network, the head of content, I think, Chad Millman, which was pretty cool. So that's a lot of fun. But Darren Ravel is one, and then Erica Nardini of Barstool Sports.
Yes.
Don't love everything Barstool Sports does, but it's kind of hard to just not pay attention to some of them. I mean, I love some of this shit. Some of it just kind of sucks, but she is definitely one. I've reached out a couple times, tried to get connected, just unfortunately was never able to. But she was definitely another person that I would have loved to get in the book. And hey, I think second revision, third revision, we'll see what happens once I get big enough, right? After this show, everyone's gonna know.
Everyone's gonna blow up. Absolutely, yeah.
Hopefully, Erica's watching now. Erica, if you are watching, please, just answer my emails. That's all I'm asking. Just answer my emails.
That's it. Come on.
Yeah, and when you're done answering his, Erica, you can answer mine.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah, I'll introduce you, Rick. Don't worry. I'll
perfect.
Introduce you.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Yeah. You scratch our back, we scratch yours. Yeah. Perfect. So that was gonna be my next question. Who haven't you had on the show that you want to have on? But we got that down. So speaking of the Action Network and obviously Win Daily, big sports betting. So how did you how'd you get involved with it? Are you just huge on fantasy and DFS? I spoke with Jason a few months ago. Been reading reach out. I want to get him on one day as well. But how did that relationship come about?
Yeah, 100%. And I can introduce you to Jason. I literally talk to him on a daily basis. But Jason and I actually had the same business coach for a little while. So we got connected, running in the same circles, talking to the same people. And I've kind of known him for the last couple of years before he even started Win Daily. We were friendly. We'd run into each other all the time. And then he actually wrote a book called Win Daily on kind of his daily fantasy life, how he was able to win so much money, and really how he was able to, how he said it was not just win at daily fantasy sports, but how to actually just win daily through mindset and, changing your game, changing your life kind of stuff. So I've always just had a, affinity for Jason. He's a good dude. He's a nice guy. He's always willing to help. And we were kind of just chatting one day, and I actually had him come on my show for the Love of Sports. And weirdly enough, that he's in the book, of course, as well. And this story is kind of funny because I interviewed him probably a week after his co-host for his Sirius XM show was unable to come in anymore because he just had a baby. And the show is it was at 12 o'clock from 12 to 2 at night. So it's kind of difficult. Yeah. The dude, has a baby. You can't really blame him. Yeah. Jason pretty much said, he's like, hey, I need a co-host. You're clearly relatively good in front of a microphone. You've done, it's not like it's your first time doing this. Like, would you be interested in, helping me out? Like, you could talk sports. I understand that. We can kind of teach you enough of the DFS stuff, and which I've played before. I'm just not super, super adept. Now, obviously, 9-10 months into this thing, I know a lot more than the next guy, but it's just something I was like, hell yeah, man. As I said, if I could talk into a microphone, like I'm 100% for it. Let me talk about the Mets and how much I hate them. Now I love them, of course, but how much I hate the Mets, how much I hate the Giants, and why we should bet against them. Like, I'm all for it. So my first show was the night of the Super Bowl. I was literally the show that went up until the Super Bowl, which is just such a cool, like, when you think about it, it's like, that's crazy. Like, it went like that. So it was pretty cool. And I've just been helping him out ever since. Now, as I said, I help him with the live streams and the podcast, some of the content stuff. We're doing some partnership stuff as well. So just doing anything we can to help him make $1, because it's a cool company. They're doing a lot of cool stuff, and just trying to help people win money, man. It's not about us. It's really about all the family members and the subscribers that are trying to win a bunch of money. And hey, man, we're all for it. Makes us look good too, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Now the Mets will win daily.
Love it. Look at you. Look at you. You are just natural. My God, Mike, you are just natural. This is incredible.
Rick, you can take the next one.
Oh yeah. So you've written a book. You got your podcast, Win Daily. You've made a lot of connections in the sports industry. Obviously, you don't want to sell tickets. Obviously, you don't want to, make calls or whatever. What is next for Mike Rasile?
It's a good question, man. I don't know. I'm kind of just enjoying what I'm doing now. I would like it if New York City opened back up again, so I could go meet some people, maybe go to a Mets game with you guys. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, 100%. We got an idea for that, by the way, Mike. We're taking the show on the road, my friend. We're going to go to the parking lot. We're putting the banner up. We're doing the show live on the road. So you are more than welcome to be a guest on the show.
Absolutely. Just give me like an 8-hour head note so I can kind of get to Queens with 15 minutes to spare. But until then, man, 100%, I would love that. That would be great. But I mean, I don't know. I love my business. Obviously, I've grown it over the last couple of years. Hopefully, everything again does shake out a little bit. Love working with Win Daily. Love talking into a microphone. So really, if any of those things kind of works itself out and that becomes the leader in the clubhouse, as they say, I'm all for it. But hey, man, I try and live present. I try and live in the moment, say yes to a lot of things. Obviously, 2020 has sucked for a lot of people, and it is unfortunate. But as I said, I tried to take advantage of a bad situation. I was able to, let's look at it from the positives. I was able to interview over 250 people. I was able to write a book. I was able to make some incredible connections and some incredible, just relationships. I got married. Congrats. Steve Cohen bought the Mets. Like, what do you want me to say? 2020 has been one of my favorite years ever. It sucks. I didn't want it to happen, but dude, I've had an incredible year, and it's the way you look at it. As I said, I focus on my mindset. I focus on my emotions. I always try and make sure that we're looking at it from a positive mindset, because negativity doesn't really help. It actually just makes you more negative. So it's just something that I always try and pay attention to. And I think I'm doing a relatively good job at it. Of course, I always can get better, but something that I'm paying attention to and trying to get better at every day.
That's incredible, man. And I want to touch back with you when you were in finance. For people out there watching who want to make a move, thinking making a move, saying, "Man, I'm just," tell us, that leap of faith that you took. Basically, bet on yourself, right? Tell people about that moment that you sort of did. That you finally said, "You know what? I'm done with this. Yeah, I'm going to do this." Kind of share that, because to a lot of people out there, they're not ready to jump ship like that, man.
Yeah, well, a couple caveats. So I was 25. I was living in my parents' house, and I didn't have any college debt. So I think those things right there are extremely. I had the greatest hand of cards that most people are dealt. So I will be very upfront and honest about that. Okay, extremely fortunate. I appreciate the hell out of my parents for everything they did for me, and they put me in that situation to allow me to do that. Because most people at 25 with, I have friends that still are $100,000 in college debt. So it's just one of those things that's very unfortunate. But I actually didn't have a plan. I literally just one day was like, frig this. I hate this so much. I don't care if I can't figure out what to do. So it was the day before Thanksgiving is the day that I quit my job. So you can only imagine when we were allowed to, hang out with our families in the past. Yeah. What those conversations were like. I was just kind of hoping everyone would just be like, so how's work? And just be like, it's work, those kind of like old, like, it's another day, another dollar, that kind of shit. So, that was a awkward Thanksgiving, to say the least. Didn't really figure out what I wanted to do till a little while later, honestly. Yeah. But well worth it. Very grateful. I actually kind of farted around a little bit, did some like digital marketing for some restaurants that I was familiar with, just to kind of pay my bills before I landed on, doing our athletes and really building that up over the last couple of years. So it was I as much as I want to say, it was a gigantic leap of faith. I had such a safety net underneath me. I was very grateful for it, and honestly, I took advantage of it. Most people wouldn't take advantage of it. I think I did, and I'm grateful I did because hey, got me here talking to you guys tonight. What else? What else could I want?
I'm glad, bro. Glad you did it, man. You didn't let somebody, even in the situation you were in, like people could have tried to have talked you out of it and said, no, whatever. But you trusted your instincts, man. So I applaud you for that, man.
Thank you.
Hell of a job.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it is like you can always get another job if it doesn't work out, but you can never get another opportunity like that, and you'll always live with that regret, after wanting to start something and then not going ahead and at least giving it a shot. So kudos to you for going out there and taking that leap. And, everyone out there watching, just, take it as a monicum of like hope for you, if you have an idea and just go after it. Worst case, you just go out there and get another job if it doesn't work out.
That was 100%. I think I was listening to like Tim Ferriss or something, and that's exactly what it was. It was like, dude, you could just like try something for 4, 5, 6 months. Maybe it was Gary Vee. I don't remember. It's like, and worst case scenario, you just kind of go back and get your old job. Maybe it's at a different company. It's like, that's it. Like, that's literally the worst case scenario, unless you just sucked at your job and can't have anything on your resume. Like, at least you went for it. Right. So I think that's something that's pretty important. Another thing I do want to bring up, it's a little late in the game now, the pandemic. I think we're all kind of like over it a little bit, but I guess there's a second wave. I don't know. I try not to pay attention to news. That shit's poison. But, it's just one of those things where if you wanted to start a podcast, if you wanted to write a book, 2020 was the year. It still is the year to do it, right? Like all we have, and I'm not going to say all we have is time, because a lot of people have other things that are on their mind, and obviously work and school and play and blah, blah, blah. But man, you're never going to find a time where you're not really allowed to leave your house, right? Like, I feel like here in New Jersey, we're about to get locked down again. It's like, all right, if you want to do something, do it. If not, just kind of take that off your list, because you're clearly never going to do it. You had this entire year where, at least for like 3 of those months, we were all pretty terrified for a really long time. Now, some people still are, and rightfully so in certain situations, but I'm 29. We'll see what happens. But it's just one of those things. If you wanted to start something, if you haven't done it yet, I would suggest really considering it. And if not, pretty much just take it off your list, because you're probably never going to do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's no truer words have been spoken. And you know what? It's the irony that it is that, we're in a socially distant, and we're supposed to be staying away from people and, distancing ourselves. And we've been talking to more people in the last few months
for real,
right? than if we were out and about. I mean, you spoke to what? 250 just on the podcast alone. So, that number is even, exponential compared to who's actually shown up on the show. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We're connected with people. It's a lot easier to connect with people, because if they were out hustling, bustling, flying across country, business meetings, this and that, like important people, you're able to get them to sit down in front of a computer, in front of a Zoom, or in front of a StreamYard, or whatever the case is. And it's a lot more accessibility to a lot of these people. And honestly, that's the best thing that has happened throughout this pandemic. It's the silver lining for sure. And I've grown a lot, just by talking to a whole bunch of different people, 100%. And trying to learn, because this is my first foray into the sports industry, because I want to do it. And I just went I just went into it and trying to build this sports fan community. I mean,
you went balls to the wall. Promo code fan experience. Dude, you got to get better at this, man.
20% off.
20% off. Free shipping. What are we doing, man? You went balls to the wall, and your balls were very well trimmed.
Make your testes your besties.
Listen, guys. If you use a regular trimmer on your balls, they will be 20% off. But instead, use the Manscaped trimmer.
There you
go. For 20% off, and your testes will be their besties. I promise you that. But thank you very much for coming on, Mike. And
wait, hold on. I got one more. Yeah. What's your Masters prediction? You think Tiger repeats?
No, God. I still don't think Tiger won last year. So that's kind of
wow.
I mean, it's been like 20 months, man. I don't even remember what the hell happened.
It's funny. I remember that watching that whole thing from beginning to end. That Sunday I watched the whole thing. I didn't get up from my chair. It was incredible watching that thing. So
it was. I watched the whole Sunday. I definitely watched the whole Sunday, watching Molinari kind of just poop his pants like in front of our eyes. That was pretty sad. Brooks missed that cut or missed the putt on 17 or 18, whatever it was. That would have sent it to a playoff. I think Brooks would have ended up winning. But yeah, I don't know, man. That is a good question. Bryson's looking really beefy out there. Not going to say it's steroids. Definitely not going to say it's steroids. But it's
a lot of protein shakes.
Yeah, totally. Just a lot of protein shakes. But he's looking pretty good. I mean, Rory is. I just did this podcast, so I have all these news and notes in my head, right? Rory's going for the career slam, so that might be something. I think we have to look at the people that, the roar, right? That roar on 17, 16, 18. Who's not going to like get as frazzled now? Who's not going to hear that and say like, oh shit, like here it is. So I think that's something to pay attention to because some of those guys we've seen kind of all year, right? The Dodgers usually choke. There was no fans. They couldn't choke. The Lakers, LeBron loves to choke. I love LeBron. Dude loves to choke. He couldn't choke. There was no fans. The Lightning. Everybody knows the Lightning were going to choke. It's a total joke, but hey, they won. There was no fans. So I think that's the way you kind of got to look at it moving forward because, hey, there's no fans. Makes it a lot easier for those head cases that are too worried about that stuff. So
yeah, I think. Hey, listen, Francisco Molinari, that guy, he's always money, so he can come through. So you're thinking Brooks, or you're thinking Dustin Johnson or something like that, or
I love Brooks. And it's Mr. Paulina Gretzky. Let's be very honest about that, Rick. Come on.
I apologize. Yep.
Yeah, I would root for Dustin Johnson just for Paulina Gretzky. She held that trophy much better than most of those gentlemen do. So I do have to say that. But no, I think I'm a big fan of Brooks. I think he's just a funny all around dude. So I would like to see him win. And I don't know. My grandma loves Ricky Fowler, so I'm always pulling for him as well. Hopefully,
this never wins, man. He hasn't.
He at some point. Just think of it. Here we go. Picturesque. He has this ridiculous lime green shirt on, and then they put the Masters jacket over it. Looks insane. All the people at Augusta will freak out. I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it. How great would that be?
I don't know, man. He looked like a big Skittle out there. I don't know.
Love it. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, one more. So now that Stevie, whose initials coincidentally are SC, Santa Claus. But what's on top of your Uncle Steve wish list on the free agent market or the trade market?
All right, give me. I don't care what it takes. Trade for Francisco Lindor. I think that's an easy one. Dude's 26 years old. Sign him to a 10-year deal. I'm all for it. A 12-year deal. Frig it. I don't care. It's not my money anymore. I don't give a shit. Give me Trevor Bauer. Whatever that's going to take. I don't care. Sign him. If we can get rid of one of those awful contracts, Robinson Cano. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anyone's going to take him. But if you can kind of like take back as we kind of traded for him and gave away money. Maybe if we could take back some funds, I don't know. That one's kind of more just like that's a real long shot on my book. But yeah, sign George Springer, bring over Francisco Lindor, sign Trevor Bauer. Like money's not an option anymore, man. Like we used to have really tight purse strings and we didn't know what to do. And it's like, we spent like an extra $6. We can't do anything today. $14 billion. Again, you can't fathom that number. He's richer than the next 3 owners in the entire MLB. And the not coolest, but like one of the things that really helps is none of these other teams want to spend money because we're in the middle of a goddamn pandemic right now. Excuse my language, but all of these other teams don't. We've already seen Brad Hand just get sent to waivers because the Indians didn't want to pay him $10 million. What the hell is that? That makes no sense. So I don't think we have to completely overspend for a lot of these guys. Francisco Lindor would be the one guy I would say, because if you're going to trade for him and then if he walks next year, that's just not a good look. It kind of sucks. It's kind of like Mookie Betts. Like if he was only on the Dodgers for 1 year, it would have been worth it, but instead they have him for the next 12. So like he's the only one that I think you have to give like a normal time kind of spending spree to. But how big is the market for George Springer really going to be? And especially at that dollar amount, whatever it is, you give him an extra 10 million. Like, I don't care, whatever that number is, it is, because you're not, I still think even with that, arbitrary number of 10 million, you're probably giving him less than if it was a normal free agent year, because none of these owners want to spend money because they lost too much because they only played 60 games or whatever. They just signed $1 billion postseason contract, mind you, for just a couple games with TBS. So that's something to pay attention to. But yeah, I think it's weirdly in a good spot. Again, not rooting for the pandemic, but if we could take advantage of it, I'm all for it.
And don't forget, when you sign George Springer, make sure you put that camera like 2 inches to the left in center field.
Man, wherever he needs that camera, I will make sure it is in that spot for him. How's that sound?
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
Put it right next to the apple. That's going to be going up and down all year.
Constantly.
Wow.
I love it. There we go, Mike. You are on point tonight, man. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Christmas, so
Yes, this is your night.
A little froggy today. I mean,
thank you.
Oh, by the way, I forgot. I'm actually, as you can see, I'm wearing my Jets jersey, number 7, Boomer Esiason, the only quarterback.
Yeah, we're gonna bring down the mood, man.
Yeah. Your thoughts, your Giants, Daniel Jones, Joe Judge. Give us a little insight on that. What do you think of the team this year?
Daniel Jones has the second most turnovers behind Ryan Leaf through like the first 15 or 16 games started. So
enough said.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dude has potential, obviously. I think we all got real excited last year when Matt Gay missed a 33-yard field goal, which is kind of funny. Yeah. Like, that was it. Other than that, he's beat the Washington Football Club a couple times. And that's a franchise. Again, Dan Snyder's still the owner. They're still going to suck. I don't care who the coach or the GM is. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Joe Judge kind of getting the short end of the stick. What are you supposed to do with that kind of off season, with that kind of roster? Defense looks way better than I thought they were going to. Offense looks putrid, but you have 3 rookies on the offensive line at some points. What do you really expect? Kind of you're hoping for the best, expecting the worst. If we get the number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, you're my dude. If not, hey, man. Well, you guys almost screwed that up. Yeah, now I really don't see it happening. If Scam Newton could do what he did in the last 2 minutes of the game, whatever, the Jets are screwed. But
let's be real. I mean, the Patriots didn't win that game. The Jets lost it.
Well, hey, what doesn't matter?
Whatever it takes to get
whatever it takes to get Trevor Lawrence at that point. That's why Adam Gase still has a job, because they know the dude sucks. Right?
Let's not get into that, Mike. Please.
It's working for you, man. It's working for you.
I know, but it's every week that I get an ulcer just watching him on the sidelines.
I get that, but yeah, I mean, I hate this Giants team. They're like the most losses over the last 5 years of any franchise. Still didn't get the number 1 overall pick in any of those years, which is kind of funny. So we'll see, man. I mean, if we get number 1, I'll take Trevor Lawrence. Don't see that really happening. Other than that, give me some offensive tackle. Kid out of Oregon, I've been told, is really good. I'll be honest, I don't watch too much Pac-12 After Dark, so I can't really say too much. But literally anything can help this team. And, shit, man, I'm here for whatever it is, because I'm going to be watching every single Sunday.
Awesome. Mike, thank you for coming on, dude. You were awesome, bro.
Pleasure's all mine, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thanks again, Mike. And, we'll be in touch for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and we got you down for that tailgate. So
let me know.
Oh, absolutely.
Just let me know. I will be there. I promise you that. Moving that camera for George Springer, too.
There you go.
There it is.
All right, Mikey. All right. Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Rasile, everybody. That was awesome, man. I am so inspired, Mike, by that story, because I walk a mile in his shoes every day. Yeah. And I'm not going to say what I do, obviously, because I already had my issues today. But in what I do, and I call it the misery and agony index that I go through every day. And when I hear that story, man,
listen, I'm not taking this off the air.
No. I don't give a damn. But what I'm saying is, I call it the misery and agony index, where I just struggle every day to get through it. And when I hear his story, this was a kid, 25 years old. He did the right thing, followed his gut, trusted his instincts. Man, that's the way to go. That's what I'm doing next year, 2021, the Roaring 20s. That's where I'm going. All right,
there we go. But he was great. It's a pleasure having him on, and it's definitely an inspiring story. And like I said, if you guys are feeling froggish, you want to go out and try and do something, just go and do it, because you're going to regret it if you don't do it.
Right.
And what's the worst that can happen? That's really what you gotta tell yourself.
A year off.
I keep my day job right now, because I got kids and a family and all of that. But I'm still out there. I'm still grinding for playing the field, and I'm still out here talking to you guys, because I love it. With this podcast, and just meeting all you amazing people that we've had on, and the amazing 100%. People that are due up, in the next few months, and then more to come. So yes, and thank you everyone for watching the show, and coming back and catching us from every Tuesday and Thursday. So enough of Steve Cohen. We got We talked about him for months and months and months, but now it's finally Christmas, and now we got to wait until next year, and a couple more weeks, and then we'll find out what the hot stove is going to bring us. But let's recap some of the games from this past week. How do we start with anything but Tom Brady?
Here we go. Tommy Terrific.
In the pivotal New Orleans Saints Tampa Bay Buccaneers matchup in Tampa Bay, the returning Antonio Brown returning with Tom Brady after spending one game with him last year. And, the hype for Antonio Brown's return, getting Godwin back, having Evans, having Gronkowski, having Fournette, having McCoy, all these weapons, they're going to put up some monster points.
And
if you consider 3 monster, well, then there you go.
They got one for each receiver.
Dude, they didn't even get that many for each receiver. Gronkowski, Godwin, Evans, Brown, Miller. I mean, it's just it was just an all-star cast, and they got the Jets did better this week. A lot better.
Yeah. And by the way, folks, this segment is news and notes. This is our news and notes segment here, brought to you by Playing the Field. Go to playthefielddating.com and find your MVP. That's playthefielddating.com. Do you know what it was? It's just too many mouths to feed, man. That's like an all-star team that has no chemistry and hasn't played. That's what it looked like there Sunday night. That's exactly what that looked like. And could it be that Brady has finally hit the wall mid-season all of a sudden? Huh?
I don't know. I really don't know what happened there. It was
an asshole.
Abysmal. It was abysmal.
And me, the idiot who told my buddy Dave and Eric who were watching tonight, I was like, yeah, take Tampa. They're home. No big deal.
Everybody took Tampa.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But it goes to show that how people underestimate and don't even respect the Saints at this point, man. Jeez. For everybody to just bet Tampa, it's incredible. Yeah, even the NFL Network guys took Tampa. I think everybody took them. Yeah,
I never saw one Saints logo pop up on any screen. I don't know if anyone saw it. Please, please go ahead and comment where it was. But I did not see it. So we'll go on to another game here. So, the Seahawks and Russell Wilson been lighting it up all season. And this week was not his week. He could not travel to Buffalo. And, what did he have? 4 turnovers?
Yeah, they had 4 turnovers.
4 turnovers. The Bills beat them. It's a lot closer than it really was. But it was 44-34 final. But, that game pretty much got away from them pretty early in that second half. And Josh Allen looked like the MVP he was in the beginning of the season, but I think too many weeks have passed of mediocre play from Allen to be in that conversation. But Russell Wilson definitely took a little bit of a hit in that MVP talks, but I think he's still in the lead.
And by the way, for all you Jet fans out there who said, man, we shouldn't have traded him, Jamal Adams is not having a very good year in Seattle. He had a blow up with Pete Carroll on the sideline during this game. He's been injured. He hasn't had a great year. And so, again, for those of you who say we shouldn't have traded him, you're starting to see little cracks over there in Seattle of what dealing with a guy like Jamal Adams is, man. Had a sideline spat. The defense in Seattle hasn't been that great either.
Their run defense is better than their pass.
Yeah, but they can't.
Jamal Adams is. His strength is stopping the run.
His strength is in sideline to sideline up in the box, but put him out there to cover. It's a different game. For what Joe Douglas got for Jamal, and Jamal's not having a great year, and he's having a tough time out there. Kudos to you, Joe Judge, and I'll fix everything else. But like you were saying, Russell Wilson MVP. I think it's back. It's back to some serious talk there. And Josh Allen, what can you say?
Yeah, he played great. I mean, he threw for what, over 400, and what do you have, four touchdowns.
I don't think he's gonna win the MVP.
No.
But he kind of bounced back after a couple of rough games.
Yeah, and it was a big game. A lot of people had the Seahawks winning that game. I didn't really. I felt like it was going to be very...
Do we have Buffalo?
I picked the Bills. You picked the Seahawks. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you were right and I was wrong.
So let's talk about another great quarterback. The quarterback that I love. Since he's come into this league and taken over for the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert lost to the Raiders 31-26, but boy, oh boy, did he win that game. And it was just, his receivers at that end of that game dropping the same pass two times.
Yeah.
He put it in the right spot both times, had it right in their hands. And, Mike Williams hit the deck. He hit his head and lost the ball. And then the other receiver just could not bring it in while he hit the ground. It was just, he won that, twice. He won that game twice. And, but I honestly, it's better off that he's losing these games because then they can, move up in the draft a little bit and draft a higher pick there because they're not going to contend this year. But he's playing great.
Yeah, I mean, look, him and Joe Burrow are two guys that are really playing well out there right now. But every time you watch, you can't take your eyes off the Chargers, man. They could be down 4 touchdowns, and this kid comes on the field and it's just bombs away. I mean, that's the football you love to watch.
Has he lost a game by under 7 points yet?
I don't think so.
I mean, by over 7 points. I mean,
over 7. I don't think so. I think every game he's played, they're competitive.
I think they've been within a touchdown in every game.
Yeah. He's just they're a young team. He's obviously gaining experience, but next year they're going to be a better team. Kind of like the Cardinals are with Kyler Murray now, real competitive. Yeah. But you cannot take your eyes off Justin Herbert when the Chargers are playing ball. I mean, you can't change the channel because he might just do something incredible out there. It's great. So, but yeah, if they can get him some help up there up front, I think the Chargers are due for a big year next year and the years to come. Did you see this, by the way? Big Ben and 4 of the Steelers are going on a COVID list.
What?
Yeah, it just came out. ESPN has it. Looks like 4 added to the Steelers COVID list. He was placed on it Tuesday. But they're optimistic that he'll be able to play against the Bengals on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, looks like they were around somebody who had COVID-19. I mean, incredible. And then also in the world of the NFL, did you see that the owners agreed to an expanded playoff format in case some regular season games get canceled?
An extended playoff format?
Yeah, they're going to have 8 teams. They're going to go to 16 teams.
Okay.
And also,
but I thought that was already going this year.
Not sure. It says
no, it's going to start next year.
They began planning for the possibility that the 2020 regular season will be cut short because of COVID. 1 to 7 minutes. Yeah. I think. I guess they're accelerating that.
Yeah. I guess so. Are they going to do neutral sites and stuff like that too?
Mm-hmm. I don't. That's a good question. I don't think not for football. That's outdoors. I don't know that you need a neutral site for that. But
I mean, if Tom Brady keeps playing the way that they are, everyone's going to be playing the Super Bowl at a neutral site.
Yeah, and then they also passed a plan that if you hire more minorities, they'll get more draft picks.
That was last year. This all passed off season.
Yeah, so that's good for the league, man. They got to get some more diversity up in the ownership booths and in the general managers' offices and in coaching. I mean, I think that's great. That's great for the league. Diversify it up a little bit up there. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, Washington football team hired a African American president, right?
Yeah, the general manager is African American. Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the president.
Okay. President of football. He might be the president of football.
I think it's president of football operations. Quick note on the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Such an amazing name. But the irony strikes again. Kyle Allen goes down with a gruesome leg injury, and Alex Smith is the one that comes in. You can't even make this stuff up. But Alex Smith passed for like 300 yards in 2 quarters?
Yeah, he played well.
I think he started right before the first half ended, like 2-minute warning or something like that.
Yeah,
and passed for like 300 yards, and obviously it was it was not enough, but he had a nice touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. It was more Terry McLaurin than it was Alex Smith, but yeah, I mean it's good to see him out there and bowling out.
Yeah. By the way, the Washington football team's quarterback position, there should be a public service announcement, because Theismann, Alex Smith, Kyle Allen, I mean, they're just snapping legs over there. They're like toothpicks out there. It's like the most dangerous position in football is the Washington football team quarterback position. Like, you drop back, you ain't coming back. I mean, that's what it is, man. And, guys just breaking their legs. So I think they need to bolster their offensive line in this draft up front, man, because guys just getting hurt. But that was kind of like a freak play, the way he snapped his leg over there.
Yeah, and he just had surgery today, I heard on the radio.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So any other games that we want to touch on from last week, or should we preview our Thursday night game?
No, I think we could preview.
Well, Thursday. You know what? The Steelers, come on, Steelers! Like, I picked you in Survivor this week, and you got me sweating. And you're going up against the guy that they just picked up off the street 2 weeks ago, and Garrett Gilbert. And the dude was, dropping dimes like they were, like he was Dak Prescott or even better. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And then, Steelers couldn't get out of their own way. Did they get shut out in the first half? I think they did, right?
They might have, yeah.
And, oh, man. But I hate the Steelers. And one day that I pick them, thankfully they pulled it out at the end. But, Jesus, like, you can't make it easy.
No, listen, but the Steelers are 8-0. Listen, they got the best coach in the league. First time in franchise history. I am a huge Mike Tomlin fan. I love Mike Tomlin. I wish he was coaching the Jets. They're 8-0. They're playing well. You play the Chiefs, man. They can match up with them. Can they beat them? I don't know, but they'll be on the field with them. So
I do think Mike Tomlin should have kicked the field goal over there towards the end of the game instead of tried to go for it on 4th down to go up 8. But it worked out for them nonetheless. It was getting a little dicey. I mean, they drive like 40 yards down the field in a few plays. So it was getting really close there. But it ended up working out in the end. And Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-0. And
8-0, man.
Thanks to the Oakland Raiders taking down the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs almost lost to the Panthers this week. Like, the Chiefs are not like
Super Bowl hangover, my friend.
Like a powerhouse like we're used to seeing. They'll still. I still think that they're going to win the AFC and make it to the.
But it's a Super Bowl hangover right now, mi amigo. That's what it is. All right, let's break down this Thursday night game coming up.
Yeah. So what do we got? I'm pulling up the Book It Sports app.
Download it. Let's go to the Book It Sports app. Our boys Nick, Trent, and Dave over there.
BookItSports.app. It's available on iPhone and Android right now on their website, BookItSports.app.
And the lovely Olivia Woods will be a guest on our show on a special episode
Olivia
Moody. Sorry. Next week. So we got Indianapolis
at Tennessee.
Tennessee is -2. Mike, take it away.
Andy, Phillip Rivers has not been great this year, and going up against Tennessee, who just made a trade a couple of weeks ago for Desmond King and to shore up a little bit of that defense and that secondary. They got a defensive touchdown last. Desmond King actually got a recovery for a touchdown. But 2 points for the Titans, who have an explosive offense, especially with Derrick Henry. I mean, granted, Colts have a great defense and but Derrick Henry's just a beast. I mean, he's not just any running back. I think Tennessee wins this game, and I don't think it's close. At least a touchdown.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, man. I mean, it's -2. They're at home, and I just think of the sight of Phillip Rivers throwing a pick, and then him hitting the floor and like flailing his legs trying to tackle somebody. They're right now Indianapolis is just playing shaky, and then you got King Henry, Tannehill's playing well. They're well coached. They should
have more weapons too.
Yeah, they should win this game by a touchdown. I mean, it shouldn't even be close. So I'm with you. Tennessee -2.
Yeah, that one's pretty simple to call. What do we got? Any more news and notes here?
Let's see. Just trying to see if we missed anything out there in the world of sports.
Oh, Craigie Carton back on the air, and I've been listening. Carton and Robert's show. It's great. It's not in the morning; it's on my drive home. But it's entertaining. It's funny. He hasn't missed a step. I mean, he's right back to his old ways, and it's a lot of fun. I reached out to him. Hopefully, we can get him on the show one day. So, Craigie,
if you're watching, man, come on the show, buddy. We're all Jet fans. Look, I got a Boomer jersey for God's sakes. Number 7, right there.
Yeah, absolutely. We should get Boomer too. Yes, but it's a great show. WFAN, 2 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Carton and Roberts in the afternoon, and it's great to have him back. I mean, let's just say it's a lot of fun having him back, and he paid he did his time. He paid his debt to society, and it's great. Glad that he's back.
Yeah, good to see Craigie back doing his thing. Bonkers and off the wall as always. I mean, it's great. Let's hope Evan can keep up. But I mean, I heard a couple of minutes of it.
He's been doing pretty good. Yeah. They've been bouncing off each other pretty good. Not as good as us, but
Yeah, no, they don't play in our league. But no, I heard a couple minutes today. It sounded pretty good. So listen, him again. Craigie Card against Michael K. That should be a doozy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we as we touched on earlier, our guest on Thursday night will be Ashley Hart. She's the founder of She Plays. It's a fantasy sports platform for women's and female sports. So that's going to be another great episode. So please tune in Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you. We will see you then.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Have a good night.
Do you want to meet other sports enthusiasts like yourself? Playing the Field can help you connect with people who love sports as much as you do. For friendship or romance. You can showcase up to 5 of your favorite teams on your profile trading card to make it easier to find fellow sports fans. Now you can talk about sports, go to the games, or play sports with others who share your interests. Find out more at playthefieldnow.com.